Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working in my traveler's notebook insert, which I made myself. If you want to make one yourself, I'll give you the link to my DIY video. This journal is going to be my Take 5 art journal for 2018. So I came across these Take 5 videos from a channel called My Little Journal by Heba, and I was so inspired. And what I did was, in late December, I contacted Kyra from Simply Creative Kyra, and I asked her if I could participate, and she said yes. So I'll be getting the prompt from the collab girls at the end of each month, and then hopefully filming my video, and then hoping to release my spread in the first week or two of the next month. So for December, the prompts were to use modeling paste, use 3 stamps, add text paper, feather, and gesso through a stencil. So what I decided to do was first I wanted to think of a color scheme, and because the feather was in there, I was really inspired by blue. I just had blue pop in my head, and because of that I went onto the internet, and I am subscribed to this or I've purchased this color almanac by Design Seeds, and I was really inspired by this color scheme. So it was a different color scheme for me because combining browns and blues was really like daunting. So I decided first to grab my watercolors to see if it was something that I could do. And yes, it's something that I could totally do, because look at this spread. It's gorgeous. I really love it. So the color palette went down, which really inspired me. And so here we go. I start off with the first prompt, and the first prompt is using text. This is an old book from 1965, Jane Eyre, a Jane Eyre copy, and I love this book. Every time I use it, I'm like, wow, this is so old. I love this, and it kind of gives me that energy to keep crafting. I'm applying it in this haphazard formation using my gel matte medium, and that paintbrush. I left that paintbrush out of water overnight, and when I got in there the next morning, it had all glubbed up. So upset. So it's sitting now in a cup of soapy hot water, trying to come back. So this is prompt number 2 that I use. Adding modeling paste through a stencil. Did not have modeling paste, so what I did was I did a bit of research on the internet and found that you can actually make your own modeling paste by adding bicarb soda to gesso until you get a really fluffy, kind of like moussey consistency. And I thought, why not give it a go? And oh, this modeling paste is gorgeous, and it gives so much texture. From now on, I'm going to start using modeling paste in everything. So I was so pleased with that experiment, and I'm glad that I didn't have to run off to buy some. That stencil was from Gesso Craft. This is a Tim Holtz stencil that I bought last year, but I have never used, and so I thought I would try it here. Really love. Looks like a courtyard. A pattern. I love it. It's gorgeous, and I can just I'm thinking of brown through it, and I'll do that next. So here is my first stamp. Now because the feather is one of the prompts, I thought I'll need to have a bird in there somewhere. This is Fly Free from Gesso Craft, and there were 2 birds on there, and I really like the one where the bird is looking away. I'm just making sure that I'm inking it up and that it'll stamp properly on the side there, and I look for a section in my art journal that is pretty flat, no modeling paste on there. That looks really amazing. I love that. So now I'm bringing in acrylic paint, and this is going to be the color of my art journal, and I'm pretty much going where I put the watercolor colors down. I had this picture of like courtyard pebbles with brown on them, and I'm just going through now and putting it on top of the modeling paste. This acrylic paint is watered down with some water, so it's flowing on my page. And what I'm trying to do is just add it pretty loosely and let it kind of seep in between the modeling paste stencil and let it try to kind of mix on the edges where it touches other colors. The brand of paint that I use is just some old ones that I have here at home. I've got a combination of Kaiser Craft and American Crafts and some Semco and a few of the brands that Riot Art sell. This is the gray coming in now. That light gray with that light blue is gorgeous. I really love that. I would never have thought to use a palette like this, and I'm so glad I bought my Color Almanac by Design Seeds, and I'm definitely going to be using that thing. It was only $5 digital purchase, and I just have it here on my desktop, and I just flick through it to get a feel for what I want every time I want to go through a spread. I'm adding more whites here and dulling down the colors. That blue is really stark, so just lightening it a little bit. My next step is to add a gesso through a stencil. This is a grid stencil that I have from Kaiser Craft, and I'm using a sponge to apply it. I am concentrating on some of the areas where the two colors mix, so where the blue and the brown mix, and I'm just breaking up that color. I'm now adding the green color. I had not used it before. I just kind of didn't know where, so I thought I would do it around the edges. And it's a really, really watered down green, so you can even see that the stencil gesso comes up through it. Just trying to get in that last color that I hadn't added before, and trying to make it all blend with a little bit of gray and then a little bit of white, and really dry brushing and mixing it while it's still wet. So one of the prompts was to add a feather. This is a Kaiser Craft feather, and what I decided to do was add the lightest blue down as the base coat. Then I went with the darkest blue on the edges and like feathered it, and then I went in with the gray in the middle there and tried to mix the two colors together. Went back again with the dark on the outside and kind of feathered it on with a dry brush stroke kind of thing. And through the middle there. Once it was pretty dry, I decided to use the tip of my brush and just add little bits of dots, adding some interest to the feather. Alright, here we go. So then I decided that I'd lost some of the brown, and I love the brown in the top left, and I think I needed some brown in the bottom right. The blue feather got lost in the blue background on the right hand page, so I knew I needed some brown on that lower right hand side page. I added some brown there, and it just looked way too stark. I thought, oh, this is not working. So I tried to put some gesso. Then I decided to put some gesso in through a stencil because I'd lost that stencil pattern. That kind of looked really good. But then I knew I needed to take it down. So I put some gesso just on my mat, and with my really thick bristle brush that never touches water, I added a thin layer of gesso actually all over the page. And this really made all the difference. It touched the raised parts of the modeling paste, leaving the darkness on the underside. It really did a great job, and I know it looks like I lost the bird there, but I'm going to go in now and with my ink gel pen, and I'm going to accentuate the bird. So then I decided to break all my rules. I knew that this page needed a pop of color, and so I got up And yes, this color is not in the color scheme, but sometimes I find that I limit myself. I put all these challenges and these rules upon myself, and I limit myself. So I just let go of all my challenges this year. And I got up, I got a different color, and I got the blue. This is the Dilutions pot. And the yellow is like a butterscotch yellow from Adirondack, really, really old paint by Tim Holtz or Ranger. And I am in love with this bird. This bird really pops out of the page, and it was exactly what was needed. I'm just glad that I listened to that little voice inside that said, try the yellow, try the yellow. I know it's not on the screen, on the scheme, but try the yellow. It will look amazing. So now all I'm doing is just adding a little bit of black for the eyes, the beak. I'm feathering in some feathers in his breast and along his tails there. And this bird is gorgeous. I love this little guy. I put the feather down right underneath the bird, hoping that it was the right thing to do. I felt like it had it kind of meshed in with the background. All right, so for using stamp number 2 of the 3 stamps prompt, I decided to bring in this script stamp. And for stamp number 3, I went with the arrows. I love this stamp because it kind of brings your eye to whatever you want your viewer to see. So I really loved the feather. So your eye starts at the top of the page, down to the feather, round the feather, and then up to the top towards the bird. And I think that's enough arrows. I didn't want to put any on the left-hand side. I was really worried that feather really blended in the background, so I grabbed this pot of Dilutions paint, and I am just going to go around the outline of the feather, trying to make it pop. And I love this. It's really gorgeous. So I left the spread and I went away for a bit, and I really thought about what the spread was trying to say. And I thought, you know what, this year my word for the year is evolve. And in order to evolve, you have to let go of some things in life. You have to let go of previous mistakes, previous limitations, previous mistakes. So I knew that the word that needed to go here was let go. I have a die set by MFT, and I just cut these letters out of black cardstock. I decided to use the lowercase letters, not the uppercase letters, because letting go should be easy. I didn't want letting go to be such a big deal. I didn't want to talk about letting go and tell everyone that I'm letting go. You know how some people just go on and on? When I let go, I decide to let go, and I just do it. I don't look back. So I wanted it to be easy, and I wanted it to be lowercase. I also had a look at my Tim Holtz Tiny Words, and I had this amazing sticker, and it said, when nothing is sure, everything is possible. And it's so perfect for me. I'm never sure, like, should I do this? Should I do that? I'm not sure. Should I do it? And do it, man. Do it. When nothing is sure, everything is possible. So that's why you let go, because anything is possible. I found another great one as well, which I put at the top right hand there, and it says, life was meant for a great adventure. If I was going to control everything, I wasn't going to have an adventure. Like, adventures are supposed to be spontaneous, and they're not supposed to be planned. They're just supposed to come at you, and you deal with them how you deal with them, and then later on you assess if that was a good thing or a bad thing, and you grow as a person. So life was meant for an adventure. You don't have to be sure of anything. Just do it. I am also adding some gel medium here on top of the stickers because it's a bumpy surface. I knew it wasn't going to hold down for very long. I am now going around with my Tombow. I can use this here because the gel medium made it a flat surface. I've ruined so many of my pens because they've been eaten up by Gesso. Now here's my big boo-boo. I'm trying to add I'm trying to add splatter, and that just was way too watery. And I decided to go for a smaller brush. Smaller brush equals little splatters. Large brush makes big blobs. So I went with my little brush, and yes, fine spray of splatters, which is fine. And I'm putting it everywhere, everywhere, on the stickers, on the bird, on the feather. Let go. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let go. So I think this is it. I've done it. I've done my first Take 5 art challenge. Love where this went. I love how it told a story and brought out some feelings. I am going to put up some photos here for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait for the next prompts. And have a great day, everybody. And if you wish to take part, please do. Grab the prompt from my video below and use the hashtag Take5Art and go ahead and do it.